Hey, don't be mean. We don't have to be mean. Because, remember, no matter where you go, there you are.
Salutations on my beloved airborne civilians, and what up, Davis sports fans? I can't say fuck sports anymore because now I've got a professional ball player who's a friend of mine, and I've already gotten some good feedback on Sam. I think Sam did a great job.
Yeah, that was a great interview, Johnny.
Thanks, pal. I am extremely thrilled to have not just my dear friend and my co-host William Munsell from Remnant Broadcasting Network, but even better, special guest today, Shannon Rowan, who is an absolute, I got to fluff it, can't help it, trailblazer, absolute trailblazer, a fantastic author, researcher. Shannon, you had written before. How did you, right, and now, so collaborations with John, you were an author before John, and then you collaborated with John, and then you just kept writing going, correct?
Well, not exactly. I was not an author of books before John, except, children's books. I don't know if I count that. And articles and magazines. And then I was working on another book when I did the one with John, and actually ours released like a month before.
How did you two connect?
I found his podcast of his about the Titanic, and I got really interested in his work, and I got falsification of history, and then as a fan mail, I wrote him an email. I had some questions. I know it doesn't usually, I get some good fan mails where we kind of start, a correspondence up, and that's basically what happened. And we just kept writing, and we were writing every day. And then eventually, because I was enlightening him about things he didn't know about because of my electrosensitivity. I'd never heard of that. I didn't know anything about that aspect of everything. So that got him interested in doing a book on that. And so he said, "Do you want to write a book with me?" And I was like, "Really? Whoa." And I was like, "I don't know."
Wow. Good for him. Good for him. Yeah. He definitely had an eye for talent. Yeah. And honestly, so looking back on your work, especially your solo work, John nailed it. As far as, and that's very unusual. I will say it wasn't the case for Bill because Bill was already a content creator, but it was the case for pretty much everybody else on my team, where they were just drawn into my work and just kind of elevated themselves. Like I said, it was easier for Bill because Bill's already had hosted and was a content creator. But wow, good for John, and he nailed it. You've really done fantastic work across the board. Just as a refresher, when did you know you were electromagnetic radiation sensitive?
2014. So 10 years now.
Wow.
Yeah. That's when it was just, actually I'd noticed symptoms before that, but I ignored them. I was like, it's not a big deal. My head was like heating up with the phone by my ear. Like I felt the heating sensation. I didn't like it. It was uncomfortable. And then it got uncomfortable just texting. And then it just got really bad in 2014 after I had major exposure on long flights. I'd gone to Bali, and then it's when it just became so amped up I couldn't ignore it anymore. And I was like, this is insane. This is hurting me a lot, and I can feel it. So that's when I started learning from there. I didn't want it to be the case. Honestly, I didn't want to be electrosensitive. I was trying to deny it. And I read about it and I was like, okay, I'm not crazy. There's a lot of other people, and there's a lot of like literature out there about the harm. And I knew it wasn't beneficial. I mean, I knew 10 years before that when cell phones, or more than that, when they started coming out, I always read like environmental news. And at the time, environmental news was sort of saying, this might not be good. They've not tested this, on the environment, these satellites and all this, and I was reading about, and a lot of people knew about cell phone radiation being hazardous initially because it was big news. There was like businessmen getting tumors, the ones that were like, had the brick phones and they were the only ones using them. So we heard this news and it suddenly was gone, right?
Shannon, did you hear the story? I know Bill's got something. He looks like he's ready to talk. Did you hear of the Roman Catholic LeBron James having a tumor, the perfect shape of his phone next to his head? He had it removed and then he became a spokesman for Motorola. Were you tracking that story?
Yeah, I do remember something about that. That's amazing, right?
Bill, much love to you, Bill. Always, gotta love my dear friend Bill. Always representing. Always representing. Bill, I can tell you have something on your mind. What did you want to jump in on?
Well, we were talking about the collaboration with Shannon and John. I just started reading this book, and I tell you, it's intriguing. I mean, the detail, the way where you and John both broke down. I'm still in the first chapter where you broke down some of the movies and the Olympics and how the opening ceremony. I mean, they're so blatant. I don't know why people don't even see it. I mean, they blatantly show you what they're going to do, and then they do it anyway, and the dumb sheep follow suit. It's crazy.
Bill, I would say that's kind of a journey. You have to have an awakening first.
Right.
And then after your awakening, you're like kicking yourself in the ass. How did I not see this? It's just screaming at you. And really, a part of that is the arrogance of the machine. They're really, they feel invincible, which will be their downfall. They feel invincible. Part of this is, I think, how they push the scamdemic. Just bolt in your face. I have a story that I'm going to talk about later of the governor-ette of New York, Kathy Hochul, who I've got members of the team, both Chris on Facebook, Fakebook. Love you, Chris. Thank you so much for your support. And also Danny, referencing how Hochul is unbelievable. So now I have to prove, if I use a link from Gmail onto Chrome Dome, I now have to prove that I'm a human being. They're going to penalize me for using a VPN. So fuck you. I will copy and paste the link. Let's see here.
I'll make a comment on what Bill said. It's and what you said, Johnny, that it's actually, to me, like we're continually awakening, because there's continually things I still suddenly go, what? I didn't notice that. And it seems so obvious when you notice it. I think that's crazy. Like I think because we're constantly something is bothering us, like that splinter in the mind they talk about in the Matrix, that like when you finally see it, you say, oh yeah, that's why I was like something about that didn't seem right, and I just wasn't really trying
your revelation,
it's that little nagging, it's that little nagging back.
Your revelation on vitamins It's exactly that. It's exactly that, where I've been doing this for over 10 years and I needed you to draw my attention to it of course, did the machine put research into finding out what makes you healthy and refine it out and pick it out? And have they processed it and packaged it for you, especially because they love you and want you healthy? No.
I have to thank Shannon for that, because I had to throw out a lot of my supplements because it had a lot of those elements in there. And
I'm gonna play a soundbite. It's gonna be too fast for you guys to catch. Hang on, just a second. I'll play a soundbite.
Hello? Hello? Anybody home? Hey, think McFly.
Hello, McFly. All right, so. Yeah, it really is a process. And another reason why the solution, did I take the watermark off? Make sure I took that off. Yeah, good. The solution is revolution. Because we're at a point now, as I said this many times, Shannon, we're at a point now where you used to have to know what you wanted. You had to first be awake and then couch your query for the internet in those awake terms, and then the information comes out for you. Now, that doesn't matter. You can be awake, you can know specifically what you want to see, you can type in it, and it still won't come up. It is total lockdown. I just recently, 2 or 3 days ago, archive.org deleted my profile. So add them to the very long list of everybody else that has deleted me. We are at a point now where it's, and people, I'm so glad the pandemic is over and the tyranny is over and things are back to normal. Pardon my language. Fuck you. This is the new normal. That it is absolutely just as bad, if not worse, especially the censorship. There is a ongoing, this is the total lockdown on information is the new normal. Period. The solution is revolution. So,
yep.
Anyway, I just wanted to share. Why was I on this? Of the governor bold in your face. This woman needs to be running for her life, just like Jacinda Ardern, the former Prime Minister of New Zealand. Bold, corrupt criminal. As a matter of fact, Ardern stepped down as so many of the other, as Kumo, the previous devout Roman Catholic far left communist tyrant. He just stepped down. He didn't wait for selections. And she stepped up in his place, a female version of him. Bold. Where they are now bragging about, now this is from me and my perspective, she is bragging about how her dedication to destroying the standard of living for the average person is Roman Catholic social justice for the environment. Bragging about it. Recently, the New York Times spotlighted her being a hyper-devout Roman Catholic. This is a woman that should be running for her life. And the machine is happy to tell you who and what they are. So I just wanted to give that as examples of how boldly arrogant, I guess that's the reason why I brought that up. So, all right, let's get into some topics. Let me see what I have. I have topics lined up. Okay, here it is. This. Interviewed Sam. What else I've got? Hang on. All right. It's in interviews. Why did I not put my topics for Shannon in the interviews folder? Because I'm not as organized as I need to be. I'm looking for, did I mistakenly put it, or did I not take it out of my inbox?
Well, I'll tell you, while you're looking for that, I'll tell a funny aha moment I had about like just things in our face that we don't notice. I kept thinking like it was weird to me, this Roe versus Wade. And it finally hit me why it was bothering me that Roe means fish eggs, so fertility, and Wade means to disturbed waters. And so, and like that's all this fertility issue, right? And about, I just thought that's so crazy. Why
it's either interdimensional Kabbalism, or it is their manipulation, their purposeful manipulation, and they're laughing at us. Either one makes sense to me, especially as a Christian. Here it is. Here's one of the things I want to look at was a top priority for me to cover with you. Let's see here. All right, there is some new.
Oh, that's nice of you.
Everything around me needs. Everything around me knows.
I guess I wish I could fade it down and play it lightly in the background. I'm not quite sure how to manage that, but Sam has a new album out, and it's pretty good stuff. I don't know how much you're able to speak to it without Sam here, but I was enjoying it. Bill, have you perused it at all?
No.
Okay, you didn't track in it? Okay, I'll send it to you right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
I may not have put you on the list. Sorry, Bill.
It's all good.
Yeah, Sam's my partner. He just released the album last week, and he's been working on it a couple of years. I was part of that like process, of course, as a just support and feedback, and because I'm a musician too. So, but yeah, excellent. It's his second album, but it's he did that in the woods out here, off grid. A lot of those recordings, like in the winter, and just writing and everything, being inspired by being in.
Is it a lot of acoustic bass stuff, or?
Yeah, he added, used Bandcamp, software, I think, for the drums, percussion, but otherwise he's playing the instruments.
Has he posted those on Spotify?
No, I think it's just on Bandcamp right now.
Yeah, because my stuff's on Spotify.
Oh, yeah.
If you ever
Oh, cool. I didn't know you had anything.
Yeah, I have one album that I did about 30 years ago.
Oh, right. I did an album over 10 years ago, and I don't have it out anywhere.
Yeah, I when I found out that Spotify, actually it was through not Spotify, but it's on Spotify, but it was through a different program, and this is what happens when they put you on Ritalin as a kid. Your memory comes and goes. But it's a program that I got onto. It only cost me about $10, and they put not only just Spotify, you could create your album cover and all that stuff. And right now it's just on Spotify. But if I could think of it, it'll come to me.
Okay. Yeah, let me know.
but yeah, it was real simple to do, and if anybody who has Spotify, you're there. I mean, it's just amazing.
The fact is that anyone with any real talent is not going to get really carried. They're not going to get rich. They're not going to get sponsored. They're not going to get publishers. They're not going to get anything. You have to be inside. Another reason why the solution of revolution is the only way that anyone with any real talent gets any kind of promotion. And so this is part of this archive. And I apologize for being raw with my language, Shannon. I just really have had it at this point where those that have the least reason to be white and that they are the most vicious about me. Meanwhile, these big production machines, it's not their material anyway. All they're doing is getting blood from a stone, riding and parasiting off of the real creators, publishers, movie makers, music publishers, across the board. It's not even them. It's not even their creative content. All they're doing, and they white knuckle. Back in the day, before I had got evicted from ScrewTube for the 5th, 6th, 7th time, I had played in the middle of a stream, I had played like 15 seconds of a Marvel Disney movie, and they stopped my stream. They stopped in midstream. They stopped in midstream. They stopped the stream. They have that much of a death grip on,
Yeah.
and these are the billion-dollar companies that.
Yeah, and we provide the content. They're making the money. And and initially with YouTube, I had some friends making money off of tutorials, and they were like, it was becoming a good job for them. That was very short-lived. I started trying to do that as soon as I did, and you could pay with the ad revenue thing, and then that all just changed, and they changed how many ads you had, how many views you had to have, how many subscribers. Then it suddenly needs 1,000 subscribers to even start making any income. They'll tell you, they'll cut you a check when they think it's been enough, but they won't tell you how much that's going to be.
No,
Right.
they
Don't
don't.
tell you
It
anything.
varies. It
And
varies.
it like changes all the time. So never help. Yeah.
Right. I have the same trouble as Johnny does with things, but I fight it because you're allowed to do clips, movie clips, scenes, or even parodies. Parodies are legal.
Yeah.
The thing of it is, it falls under fair use. And every time I play the fair use card, they let it drop. They first blocked me. My Godzilla, I did a Godzilla, I'm working on a Godzilla parody, and I did a music video with a lot of film clips from the Godzilla movies.
Mm-hmm.
And they shut it down because of copyright.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I came back and said, hey, this is fair use. It's only small clips. It's allowable. And they dropped it. They let me go. And by the way, the company I went through to promote my music is called CD Baby.
Okay, thanks.
It's kind of like like Bandcamp. It's kind of like Bandcamp, because I'm familiar with Bandcamp, but CD Baby, you upload the music and everything, and they'll help promote it, and they'll put it like on Spotify and probably Pandora.
It's like Bandcamp, but without the sexual experimentation.
Okay.
Just that one time. Never mind. Just kidding. All right. So.
Sorry. Sam, he's also a really talented video editor. He used to do that as a job, and we were watching X-Files for a while there one summer, and he got into he wanted to do Supercut. He did this amazing Supercut. I think it has like 40,000 views or something right now on YouTube. Like we've left up there. Of course, he doesn't make anything from that because it's not his material, because it's X-Files, but it was just like a fun thing he did. But it's still hilarious if you ever want to. I don't know if I ever sent you that link, but if you look up, I think it's Mulder is frustrated or loses his cool. I think it's Mulder loses his cool or something, and you'll see Sam's name. But it's really good. So anyway, I was just remembering that. But
let's see here. Yeah. Oh wow, popped right up. Hang on. Let's see here.
Yeah.
Mulder, I know that
it's a good laugh.
Yeah. Hold on.
We're seeing who could. Yeah, Sam, I beat you to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, too bad I'm the host, so shut up. All right, here it is. Hold on.
Okay.
Let's see here.
Supercut.
Mm-hmm.
Mulder, I know that you feel frustrated.
The man was abducted. A cover-up was underway.
I need to know the truth. Scully, get that light off me. Scully, get that gun off me.
Put it down!
You put it down first!
Scully! You were there, Scully. What makes you think I would want to see that? He's been making reports on me since the beginning, Scully, taking your little notes. Your cigarette-smoking friend killed my father for that tape, and then he killed me.
You ignore my call problem. You expect me to do what you say. You go to hell!
Shut up! Shut up!
I'm gonna kill you! You son of a bitch!
Black lung son of a bitch.
You son of a bitch!
Who are you? Who are you? Come out! Step out of there. Where is she? Was it paramedics, FBI, military? No! This is for me. How you feeling now? A little more helpful? Stupid ass haircut, Fox. No! What'd you tell him?
Mulder!
I'm just tired.
The predator is loose because of you. God only knows how many hours lead he's got.
The only thing that matters is that that man is called to answer. Now, I want his name.
I don't know his name.
You know how to get it.
These men don't have names.
Well, then you tell me how to find him.
Tell me. There's nothing you can do.
Get the hell off of me.
Don't do this. Don't let me put you under arrest. Don't. I'm talking to you.
Let him go.
What's amazing about this is that clearly you've got somebody who is really familiar with the series and able to pick these out and piece them together. That's the real genius there.
Oh, it is, because there's like how many seasons?
Good grief. Seasons and episodes, countless.
Hundreds of episodes, you know, and I do the same thing. I've got collections of, I've got complete series of different shows. And I thought of doing the same thing, but it's a lot of work.
So he's kind of embarrassed at how much time he spent on that. It was one whole summer. But no.
Right.
But, yeah,
and I'm one of those people that I got to get this done and get it out there. But it's taken me forever to.
He has a second one. It's linked. It's in the link in the comments. Or the show notes. That. To Scully, it wasn't as popular, but Scully being a medical doctor, she's always saying I'm a medical doctor, right? So there's one for that. But he almost finished another one I really want him to do, which is about showing all the shoulder shake. I call them shoulder shake scenes from all the old movies where the men would grab women by the shoulders and shake them. Yeah. It's like you had to have that in a movie.
Right.
I don't know.
Right.
Just dramatic.
Or the hysterical woman who just can't lose his control, and you have to slap her.
But anyway, he's getting there.
Uh-oh.
Johnny
found it.
Here she is. Yes.
Dr. Scully, who do you think
I'll play for just a minute.
you are?
Okay.
I'm a medical doctor.
You're a medical doctor?
Are you a doctor?
Medical doctor?
Yeah, I'm a medical doctor. I'm a medical doctor.
You're a medical doctor.
I am a medical doctor. Well, I'm a medical doctor. I am a medical doctor.
This actually is even better. This is actually even better.
Right, because we got one. Okay.
Let me play a little bit more.
Impossible.
Go ahead.
Sound like my mother.
Oh, I also sound like a doctor.
Agent Scully is an MD.
You're the doctor.
She's a medical doctor.
I'm a doctor. I am a doctor.
Who the hell is this woman?
She's a doctor.
I'm a medical doctor.
Agent Scully is a medical doctor.
I'm not a doctor, Scully.
I'm a doctor. I'm a doctor. My name is Scully.
Let me know you're really a doctor.
You don't. The truth is I've never delivered a baby before.
I'm Dr. Scully.
You're a long way from home, Dr. Scully.
I'm a medical.
Here's this too. That's really well. I might have to keep that. I might have to keep that.
Right, because we've got one with the Three Stooges,
And here's
Dr.
this.
Howard, Dr. Fine.
Here's this. Here's this.
All right.
Can't stand it anymore. I've got to get out of
This
here.
is the one.
I've got to get out of here. Calm down. Get a hold of yourself.
Shoulder shake.
Please let me handle this.
I've got to get.
What's really funny is Nielsen slaps her, and then as he's walking away, he comes back and slaps her again.
Yeah.
Take care of this. Calm down. Get a hold of yourself.
Doctor, you're one on the phone.
Oh, here we go. Here's the knife.
Sister, please, I'll handle this.
All right, those slaps are kind of gay.
I've got to get out.
And then you got the whole lineup.
All right, this was, and in no way, shape, or form was any of this on my list to discuss when Shannon comes back and visits.
Well, when we tie in the medical doctor into what we're going to talk about, maybe, because the thing is, what the point of these supercuts really is that, the indoctrination. Look at that. The indoctrination about doctors, authority. It's everywhere in everything we watch, and that violence. What's funny it's not really funny to watch violence, but it is when you see it all at once. You see it for what it is. How much, how ridiculous the amount of violence there is. But yeah, the medical doctor thing. A medical doctor. Oh, respect. Oh, bow down to the medical doctor, right? Like, this is the person who knows everything.
Absolutely. Turn off your mind.
I got that stethoscope. This is my stethoscope and my lab coat. I see.
This is why. And in my article, when I actually wanted to, when I was doing the correction about the list of disinformation dozen, there's actually a couple of people on that list that weren't germ theory compromisers, and I wanted to reference it. I wanted to respect them. Andy had given me the correction on Kelly Brogan, and Shannon had given me the correction on Sayer G, that neither of them were germ theory compromisers, and I really wanted to, and yet I just can't do it. Dr. Kelly Brogan and Dr. Andy Kaufman. No, these are good people who are solid health experts who you absolutely should. If you had a situation where you wanted to pay them for advice, they're worth it. They're worth paying for advice to help you get healthy as guides. I did shows back where the title of the show was Guides, Not Gods. That's the point. The point is, honorifics are used as a way to manipulate people to get them to turn off critical thinking. Period. Honorifics are used to make you turn off critical thinking. So in that sense, no, we don't. And that's why, honestly, what Sam did with, I will archive that as an example of just that. And that's why it's not as popular as Mulder losing his temper. Simply because it really does make that much more powerful of a point. So
absolutely.
Shannon, we had spoken before this in relation to issues that I have been having with fur baby food for my pets, my beloved animals. And you have a fantastic take on this with exactly the same thing that I credit Andy of actually hands-on experience with. What have you found in relation to problems with pet food, and how did you get around it?
Yeah, well, it's this vitamin thing that led me to look at their food more. And because I was looking at our food, I was looking at supplements, and basically understanding now that vitamins are chemical poisons. And so when you see vitamin added, that's a poison added. There's no beneficial purpose to these chemicals. These are mostly industrial waste that are basically, we're paying for these companies not to have to dispose of and pay for themselves. They're disposing of it in our food, in our water, So, what really, I think, shocked me the most was I thought, well, I'm going to buy, we've been getting one of the better brand foods for our cats for a long time, but it was still, I thought, well, maybe I'll just need to spend a little more and get a better one. There's got to be something more pure, organic, whatever, because I hadn't really been getting them organic food. I'd been getting something I thought was, free range something or whatever, but maybe not organic. And then anyway, I looked into it, and there are absolutely zero commercial brands of pet food that don't have vitamins added, even the raw. So I looked at freeze-dried raw food, vitamins added to all of it. So there's other problems with pet food a lot of people are aware of, and I keep seeing articles popping up recently too, oh, this kind of protein, it's something bad in it. There might be antibiotics in the pet food that's causing harm. There may be artificial colors, artificial flavors, and then they'll blame grains. It's the wheat, it's the corn. Here's a grain-free, and then so you've got rice or potato instead for starch, and that's supposed to be a lot better. And then you have companies sourcing all their ingredients. That's supposed to be transparency. It's interesting to look at some of those, and I'm looking all these up, and I'm seeing this, and they'll say the vitamins came from Poland, and then this meat came from Canada, this rice came from Indonesia, whatever. There's all these are 10 different countries so if we really looked into this and saw how they're making the food, I'm sure we'd all be shocked and horrified. I mean, what really, and what they call an animal protein, what is even that? If we really get into this, we don't even know really what they're doing first to this. What's the animal protein? I guarantee it's another waste product from, it's like a food industry, from, meat industry. They're just taking whatever crap they'd have to throw away, and they're putting it and making it into little kibbles. And the reason our pets like it is because it tastes good, because they add some kind of flavoring. They're addicted to it. Right. And I always thought, well, we always fed our cats some fresh foods, but I thought the kibbles are good for them to have as they're kind of cleans their teeth or whatever kind of, so stuff they tell us they need it for, or maybe I thought they really need certain things I can't provide for them myself, some other way, like the special amazing vitamins, they need it. I can't, they need taurine, like cats need supposedly L-taurine, some, amino acid that's supposedly just from like animal hearts. And there's no way they'll die if you don't give it to them. There's a lot of fear around this. So I finally was like, I'm not going to keep poisoning them at all. I feel like they were getting fatter for no reason, just like getting too much weight gain. They were very active. They go out a lot. And so it didn't make sense. Anyway, I realized vitamin D was in. So vitamin D is absolutely, they say, can poison your animals. It's a rat poison. You want to call 911, you want to call the vet. If your animal gets into vitamin D, call the vet. They put it in their food. Oh, but it's okay because it's just a little bit. Oh, but then there was a recall on some dog food not long ago because there's too much vitamin D in it, because vitamin D is rat poison and it can kill your animals. It's a steroid, so it'll fatten them up, and maybe it'll eventually cause cancer. All these vitamins cause cancer. And then you're stuck in that system of paying, for all the medicines then to save your animal. So you get the food the vets recommend, you care about your animals, and then you're stuck in that, system of like having to keep paying for all the problems the food's causing. So
right. It sounds like it's planned that way, just like the medical industrial complex is they work hand in hand with the Food and Drug Administration to, okay, we'll put this stuff in our food, make you sick, go to the doctor. Hey, what a great money-making machine. So they want to do the same thing with our pets, because getting pets, a pet visit or vet visit is just as expensive or even more sometimes than going to a doctor yourself. And it just seems like, we got to take care of our bodies. So we have to make natural organic choices for ourselves. It seems like now we have to do it for our pets as well. It's just because they're just like our children, we've got to make sure they're well fed as well.
People used to. That's the thing. I realized that it hasn't been that long that we've been buying into the commercial animal feed thing. For our pets, people used to just give them their own food scraps, like your animals ate your food, like what you had left of that, and they ate all kinds of things. And so I looked up what I've done as a solution, just to go over that really quickly, is I looked up some kibbles. There are kibbles formulas online. There's also other we fed our cats. We got them when they were weaned too early. They were very sickly, and I had to feed them. I made food for them their first months of life. They couldn't eat anything else. And that was when I was looking at kind of wet food recipes, you could call it, and basically just cooking chicken for them. I forget what else I added to it. But now I've just looked at what ingredients are supposed to be in the food they've been eating for 10 years, and that they're used to eating. And then looked up kibble recipes and just kind of modified, looked at what I had at my home. So, I think it might still be, I have a friend who feeds her cats just raw meats, and has been for years. But I feel like our cats if the problem is when you do that, you've had a cat who's been eating other foods, with starches in it, their systems are not, their bowels won't move well. And
it's not just the starch. I think raw meat and nothing but raw meat is a problem. I have gotten both my cats and dogs to take in portions, and this is solid, by the way, natural resource, not natural, but what's the word? I can't remember the actual term for so-called scientists that watch animals in the wild. Here, I'll pull it up. Real quick.
Right.
It's an absolute. It's an accepted fact. I reference this all the time.
Is this the coyotes or
right? Wolves.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and we had coyotes where we lived in Arizona, and their poop always had berries in it.
Absolutely,
they eat a lot of berries.
I love this.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Mother wolves found to be eating blueberries and then regurgitating them for pups. It's absolutely solid. I have JSD Darnell's in the house. I'm going to get from you in a second. It's not easy, especially with the cats. It's not easy with the cats. Dogs is a little bit easier. I do that. Fruits and veg. Balance for me, balance for them. Common sense.
Yeah.
There are some things you got to watch. Supposedly, okay, so definitely onions, garlic are no, bad for digestion. Apparently grapes are bad for digestion as well. Common sense. Chocolate. Okay, that's common sense. But anything else, most green roughage is solid. And most fruit is solid and the right amount. And you're going to have to work with your pets carefully to find out what the right amount, what the right balance is. But absolutely for me, every meal.
Yeah.
It's a little bit harder with the cats. I have to dice it more fine because the little shits will eat around it if it's too big. Like, I don't want that. Are you kidding me? Get that out of here. So I got to dice it up more finely. But in this house, both canines and felines get as balanced a diet as I possibly can make it.
Yeah, so I was going to say, I've always given them some raw meats and some raw eggs and milk, but they seem that they do want something else, and they eat grass outside. So we give them, so I've been cooking sweet potato, because this was like what was in their like commercial formula, supposedly, sweet potatoes and peas. And so I actually been using like an organic wheat base to flour, actually sourdough start. I forgot to add that when I sent you that list, Johnny. Sourdough, they like it too. I actually dropped some sourdough on the ground when I was like making sourdough bread the other day. My cat came and licked it up. You know, he loves kale, 2 pieces of kale, you know, so I mix in, so basically I bake this like kind of like a flat bread and cut it up in pieces, and it's more of like a soft, it's not a kibble, but I cook for them. I'm doing it today once a week. And I refrigerate it, and that's their base food. And then we add, you know, we give them other stuff with that. So like, it's, you know, and they're doing better. I mean, their coats are shiny. The cat that was kind of like had issues around food in terms, seemed like addicted, would get really crazy on us about getting fed, you know, and just, and even especially when we start giving them like canned cat foods, brand, you know, they get addicted to those and go crazy about them. They get a little crazy about tuna. We do give them tuna sometimes still, but you know, it's like, the thing is, think about it. It's like, no matter what they say, again, what they say is in the food, and what they make it look like on the covers of these packages, you know, all these healthy ingredients. I mean, what's really done to the food, even if they had like what they call blueberry in their food and what you would put as a blueberry in the food you make, is a very different thing, you know, just like these supplements. I mean, because it's like the processing, you know, the extraction, the heating, the over crazy amounts of heat. You know, what is left is like, cannot be what we should be calling food, or anything to sustain anybody for any reason. You know, this is, whatever you do at home is way better. But we have this fear. We've been programmed to fear, you know, feeding our own animals, feeding our own children, feeding, you know, like our families, just food that isn't packaged, that isn't, you know, adulterated. So
yeah, listen, and I want to bring to JSD and Darnell. Good to see you, pal.
Yeah. Hi.
Hey, good to see you all. Hey,
It's
Shannon.
absolutely intuitive that the games that they're playing, again, pardon my language, the fuckery that they are playing of infusing vitamins into any food is anything less than their hatred of us. If anyone thinks that they were sitting there worrying and fretting that the average person wasn't getting enough of the nutrients they needed, and so they adjusted to infuse vitamin blah 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 and starch into your macaroni, into your pasta, because they love you, is just as stupid as they're sitting there thinking how desperately you need to upgrade the protection of your teeth by giving you fluoride to ingest in your water, when really what's going on is they are making money off of getting rid of a toxin that they weren't allowed to get rid of anyway. Instead, they'll just feed it to you and laugh their way to the fucking bank. Okay? Yeah. That's the exact same concept from anything that they're giving you. Vitamin D in their ultra pasteurized Pastille milk, all the way across the board. across the board. Let me pause there and let Darnell jump in and add anything and throw anything at Shannon he wants to throw it.
Yeah, I was going to say it's just like honey. I mean, they love you so much, you can't just have the honey out the honeycomb. No, they have to pasteurize the honey, kill everything good in the honey, and then you can have the honey just for the sugar. You know?
Right.
Nothing beneficial.
Absolutely.
That's why you got to get it raw. You got to get it raw.
Yeah. And it's hard. Oh, actually, it has to, not just raw, unheated. They've tricked us with the labels too. Raw honey now means heated to a certain temperature is considered raw. It could be 200 degrees heated, raw. That's still raw honey. That's not raw honey. Unheated. Try finding unheated honey. It's very
you got to go to a farmer who does their own honey.
It's really hard.
We have people who sell it out of the back of their truck, and I trust him more than I would going into Costco.
I get my honey out of a nondescript black van on the corner of Madison and Fifth.
Like your raw milk, too, right?
Right.
Oh, I'm sorry,
at
John.
3 a.m.
That's the problem with you living in the big city. You know, I live in the country where we have overabundance of hives and bees and everything.
It's difficult
but the
to find people who do organic beekeeping too, that don't like use pesticides in their beekeeping.
Right. But the problem is with all this crap they've been spraying in the air and everything are killing the bees off. I have not seen for years, I have not seen a monarch butterfly.
Oh,
they're practically extinct. They're practically extinct.
And the LED lights, they are bad for bugs also.
Yeah.
So you got the Wi-Fi, you got the LED, and you got the sky spraying, all in combination.
We have monarch butterflies here. We get all kinds of butterflies, bees, because we don't have any signals where we live. And I've been also like every year I'm adding more wildflowers to the garden, a lot of different plants and medicinal plants, actual medicines. I've been focusing on. I'm just done. I've decided this year, no more. I'm never going to take another pill again in my life. I don't care what the pill is supposed to be. I'm not taking it. No pills, nothing. I don't care if it's supposed to all be an herb in there. I'm going to grow my herb and I'm going to grow my plant medicine and harvest it myself. I can, most of these medicinal herbs that we need, we can grow in our backyards. We don't need to buy them on Amazon or wherever, even in bulk, because even then you're not sure how much of that is pure. How has it been irradiated? How did they dry it? I mean, there's just so many potential issues that can happen. How they're packaging it, they put it in aluminum foil packaging,
Absolutely. That's the best way.
I hate to say it, but once again, the solution is revolution. When you know what you need to be healthy and you're going out of your way to be healthy and they still fuck you and give you poison anyway, there's no other way around it. The whole system needs to burn and burn now. And I apologize for being wacky, but I've just absolutely had it. So
when you do all of this, I mean, we're out here growing our own food. We have spring water. It should be completely pristine environment. But I look at the sky and there they go spraying again. It's just like that's coming down on us. And I can't believe we're sitting here in the second decade of this like massive spray. I mean, they did it earlier than that, but like literally in our faces, it's there and people deny it still. And it hasn't stopped. How can we not, if we can't as a people stop them from poisoning us and like stop them from doing that and altering our weather and blocking the sun, then obviously we're not in any kind of just free system where the people have a say in anything.
Absolutely. Johnny and I, we've been suffering from this horrible cold or whatever it's been. And it was right after they kept spraying those chemtrails and everything. And this is what makes me so furious is I'll wake up early in the morning because I work early in the morning and we have such a beautiful blue sky. And then a couple hours later, you see these white streaks everywhere and they dissipate. And guess what?
Yeah, no sun.
The beautiful blue sky goes away. And for the rest of the day until sunset, it's that awful cloudy
people
haze.
People say, listen, they would never do that to themselves. Oh, yes, they would. They would. They hate themselves. Absolutely, they would. The tiny 0.00001% are going through regular regimen of purging themselves of the shit that they know is out there, and they happily, pardon my language, fuck absolutely everybody else. And if the equation is to do this means you and the United States of America and your Satan spawn continue to be the only power that controls the weather over all the other nations, will you go ahead and do that just to have that power? You effing bet.
Right.
You bet.
And what I hate is the bullshit that they pronounce. A few years ago, Johnny showed it on one of his shows. One of our local weatherman was talking about all that stuff up there. And he says, oh, it was the military's using that to block radar and stuff like that. And I'm thinking, if it's blocking enemy radar, isn't it blocking our radar too? And now here's the latest. Oh, they're spraying up there because they're seeding the clouds, like in Dubai, where they seed but they use drones, they use other things. And it's a totally different thing. But, every time they turn around, they come up with all this BS. And we're sitting there, and one state is going, how are they blaming us for climate change when they're the ones are the biggest offenders?
Right. They're the ones messing with the climate.
You got guys like Ted Kennedy. He used the big brick cell phone, got brain cancer. They're not protecting themselves. They're getting it too.
That's true. I mean, Steve Jobs, he's gone. Right. I mean, they don't look Gates doesn't look very healthy to me. None of them look healthy. So, I mean, of course, there's also the hidden hand of people names we don't know, just like the Mulder supercut, right? He said, these men don't have names. In the way that's true there. Oh, you missed that. We did that earlier.
Yeah,
I heard it. I heard it all. I listened to the whole show.
Oh, I see.
That clip has been disappeared from the internet. Apparently, that was a local weatherman named Kevin Lawless. And if you try and search that, all you get is fact check wrong, fact check wrong, fact check wrong.
Right.
He was full of shit. Fact check wrong. He's been fired. Fact check. Get him out of here.
Yeah.
That clip has been disappeared from the internet.
I used to work with the guy, and he was always telling me about all the conspiracy theory, which back then I thought it was all conspiracy theories and stuff.
Oh, wow.
But that was pretty bold of him. It was pretty bold of Kevin to do that, because when I was working at that station when he was there, they had a lot of turnovers because a lot of the people that they hire were idiots, and as soon as they did what they did or screw up, they're gone down the road. I've seen them come and go there. And, I'm glad I'm out of television. I spent so many years in television, and I saw all the BS that was going on. I mean, we did do a lot of local true stories, but when it went to national, all the national stuff was just all fed to us by the AP wire. And that's what they wanted us to read. Here it is, AP. If it's on the AP, you have to read it. Even if it's bullshit, you're going to read it. And so everybody parried that. We showed clips of all the same television station, all the television stations in the country. They're saying almost everything word for word. They're parroting everything. And it was all fed to them by the AP wire. And the AP wire is controlled by the CIA.
Yeah.
But they do it with local flair, Bill.
Yes, you're absolutely right. With local flair. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I was thinking about the X-Files thing when I heard that plan. And what I found interesting is, all of us probably used to watch X-Files. But once the scamdemic came around, some people I know who used to watch the X-Files too just didn't wake up. Never woke up and are still in it. And it's like, wait a minute, you watch the same skeptic show with me, but you're still in the same game getting played.
Yeah.
It's programming. It's programming. That's why they call it programming, is they're programming this to be a reality, and you need to accept it as reality. So when it really happens, then you accept it. Yeah.
All right. I've got this. I know you guys are doing everything but asking me for this clip. Here it is.
Oh, you found it.
Hi, I'm Fox San Antonio's Jessica Headley.
And I'm Ryan Wolf.
Our greatest
responsibility
is to serve our
Treasure Valley communities,
the El Paso, Las Cruces communities, Eastern Iowa communities,
Mid-Michigan communities.
We are extremely proud of the quality, balanced journalism that CBS 4 News produces.
But we are concerned about trouble and trend of irresponsible, one-sided news stories
plaguing our country.
The sharing of biased and false news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
The sharing of biased and false
news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media outlets
Fucking hilarious. What's hilarious is they're telling you be wary of scripted fake news, and here's the scripted fake news. That's what's really hilarious.
There you go. Hegelian dialectic.
Amazing. That I have, I've seen that before, but not this compilation. This is excellent.
Oh yeah, I'll send that to you.
That seemed like a shorter one, not that. Yeah,
definitely get it right to the point.
Yeah, that's as bad as this portion of the news is brought to you by Pfizer.
Yeah, well, let me, as I've told people repeatedly over this, but Pfizer is the only big pharma. There's nobody else. There's no Merck. There's no Johnson & Johnson. There's no GlaxoSmithKline. The only big pharma company is Pfizer. Why? Because their CEO is a Jew that talks through his mouth like some kind of Men in Black alien or something like that. Talks through his throat, rather. His throat bowls out. Yeah. That's the only reason. The truth is that, as usual, they're putting out someone who's a company that is expendable to give cover to all the other companies. And if anybody's asking why I'm not on a waterbed, I spend too much time on my ass in the chair. It's bad for my ass. It's bad for my back. So I'm sitting on a bouncy ball. And you may consider this for yourself if your ass hurts or your back hurts or anything like that, because you spend all day on your ass. So
I've used that myself. But Johnson & Johnson has been sued so many times. There was remember the powder that was creating, what was it, uterine cancer or something?
I think it had arsenic or something in their baby powder or something like that. Recently one of their shampoos or something was making people go bald or that kind of thing.
I'm going to let JSD come in just a second. I wanted to say, listen, this is very similar to, and I always put this out, former Democrat who was magically rebranded as a conservative Republican, Rick Perry, who became the governor of Texas. Oh, wait, I have to play that for you. And I also see that Johnny G is in the house, so I have to play this for Johnny G. Hold on just a second. Johnny G, are you... I got to play this. Hold on, guys.
Yeah, he's in the house.
Johnny G, are you Christian?
You're Christian.
No! No, Christian.
All right, hold on. Rick Perry was governor of Texas.
Behold, my stuff.
Ooh.
I'm particularly fond of these. I pulled them out of a place on Midgard called Texas. I even named them Des and Troy. You see, when you put them together, they destroy.
So Rick Perry was going to mandate by executive order that all teens, male and female, get the Gardasil shot from Merck. And this had nothing to do with whether he was getting kickbacks from Merck. That bastard should have been lynched, literally lynched by the people of Texas. Both girls and boys. And it was a joke I always make. Gardasil is 100% proven to keep young boys from getting uterine cancer. Unfortunately, it can't be said for anything else that the boys would contract later on. So that's always a joke. JSD, you wanted to jump in, pal. Go ahead.
Yeah, when you were showing that clip of all the news people, if you notice too, they're pretty much all dressed alike. All the men have a dark suit except for like maybe one or two. All the women have their tight dress with their hair down. And they're, it's like mirror images.
It's a coincidence.
And words. Yeah.
That's a coincidence. I enjoy mentioning blue collar comedian. He's not blue collar, but he's definitely tapped into the love of blue collar and blue collar community. Is Jim Brewer, who calls the news talking heads cockatoos. It's hilarious. I love him for that. Whether or not he's go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Did you saw his like jab stand-up routine? He wouldn't play at any venues where they had to be vaccinated. He was like coming, he was protesting that, but he made fun of people lining up for that. Did you see that one?
I don't know if I've seen that. When he first did Somebody Had to Say It. When he first did Somebody Had to Say It, that just exploded onto the alt media scene.
Oh, that may have been part of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was part of that. He was like, because he was showing them as like sea lions.
Yeah. Trust the science. Trust the science. Come on. Trust the science. Yeah, hilarious. Absolutely hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a 6 feet safe guy, right?
Right. Yeah. Pretty darn good. Really. Yeah. Listen, that is what satire is.
Absolutely.
Satire is you take a narrative that is clearly wrong and being forced by the majority or by the machine, and you poke fun at it. That is why there is nothing funny in comedy today. No one has the cojones for real satire to make fun of a machine narrative. And the tiny one or two that do are powerfully successful. Whether they're scripted to be that way or not, you have to make your own decision. So
most comedians nowadays
Jim
just
Brewer,
want to be disgusting. So.
Yeah, Jim Brewer, by the way, Roman Catholic, his wife born again, and so we keep him in our thoughts and prayers that she will pull him to the dark side and getting born again. So anyway, JSD, did you get everything off of your plate that you wanted to? What do you got here? Yeah, that's it.
I was just putting that in.
Yeah,
how long is that?
It's like 90 seconds, I think.
Okay, all right. I'll play the 6 foot safe real quick.
Yeah, I was just going to mention that her book about what was it? Shots fired.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on that, Bill, and we'll use that as prep to get Shannon on another topic. Let me play this 6 foot safe real quick.
There is it.
Oh, it's longer than I thought.
All right.
Well, just a minute or two, and then we'll go.
Well, thank you all for coming out and risking your lives. Because there's still people going, you're not really going out in public indoors, are you? The Delta, the Omega, the Charlie Brown.
This whole bit, 9/11 is the whole bit is really good.
Yeah.
And Shannon, do you still see people out walking the street? Do you still see people by themselves in their car with a mask on?
No, I haven't. But that's only been recently.
You've got a bunch of really healthy folks out there, out in the middle of nowhere.
I've got people riding bicycles and stuff.
Oh no! Oh, you're
swimming in pools with masks.
I will do something. I will regularly shame anyone that I come across. Fortunately, it's pretty rare. Just yesterday, I was in the shop for adult spirits. I wasn't buying anything for me. I was there for a friend. No, I was buying half the fucking store. I was, but there was somebody in there with a mask on, and I just did.
Yeah.
She got real uncomfortable real fast, and I was glad to do that. Mask shaming.
Yeah, there we go.
I have a meme. Do I take the time to pull it up? I have a meme that I grabbed from Princess Bride, which did one of the most Jesuitical movies of all time for any reasons. But in the meme, I have a picture of Mandy Patinkin, and the meme says "Covidiot." You keep using that word. I do not think it means what you think it means.
Yeah.
You know what? I need to bring that up because in my article I brought that I mentioned in the article how they said anyone who questions the efficacy of vaccines are a vaccine hoaxer. What? Do you even know the English language? Do you know that you're actually inverting the truth? No, a vaccine hoaxer is someone that presents a vaccine with a false premise, and the vaccine turns out to be not what it is. That means the entire pharmaceutical industry are the vaccine hoaxers, morons,
Absolutely.
idiots.
Yep.
Do you just not understand the English language, or are you gaslighting and think you're funny?
Possibly the latter.
Or an idiot.
Yeah, or all the above. So who did I step on? I stepped on Darnell. Did I step on you? Do you step more?
No, I've got tons of stuff, because we were going to go yesterday, but I didn't want to step on Shannon.
Right, no, I know what I wanted to do. So listen, go through your stuff that can also simultaneously set up Shannon. Do that now. Yeah. And in the meantime, Bill, you had something on Shots Fired.
Well, we were talking about, the subject of vaccines and stuff like that, and a lot of that is what was covered in her book. I haven't read all of her book.
Shannon, do you want safe vaccines, or which vaccines are worthwhile that you want safer? I mean, we stand with Robert Francis Adultery Jr. that we want safe. Del Bigtree, we just want safe vaccines, right?
No vaccine can be a safe vaccine. Actually, I think I quoted it was even like a Surgeon General said in my book that the safest vaccine is the one never given. Or something.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's what it comes down to, and that all vaccines are inherently unsafe was another some medical authority saying this, coming out and saying it. None of that. We don't need vaccines because we don't have viruses aren't real. So prove that there's a virus, prove that there's something you need a vaccine for, prove that vaccines do anything but poison. But none of that has been proven. So no, I wanted to give share a short story. Yesterday, I was we're talking about people in masks and that. So I'm, as you know, a kayak guide in the summer now on the river here, and I had a full day yesterday, and there was a woman with her young children, and turned out she was from Panama, and I mean she's been living in the States, in Washington for a few years. And I asked, "Oh, have you been back to Panama in a while? Are you gonna, because I haven't been to Panama, but Costa Rica near the border there." And she said, "Well," and she had these young children, and two of them were twins and looked like around 4 years old. She's like, "Well, I haven't because of the twins. They hasn't been. I didn't think it was safe, and now maybe I feel like we could go." And I said, "Yeah, I remember hearing some weird news in Panama during that, the pandemic, that they weren't letting, it was like only women could go out one day and men the other day and this." And and she's like, "Yeah, I know. Yes, I did hear about that." But she was like, "I know it sounds kind of weird, but you know what? It worked because they had very few cases and they got it under control really quickly. And here it was just like running rampant and we didn't have it under control. And they, so it might sound like they did some weird things, but it was really great." And then I'm like, okay, I just had to go, because of my position as the guide and everything. I said, interesting. I just had to say,
I cannot think. So I get invites all the time from dear friends. Dawn and both Dawn and David invited me to come visit them in the UK, and I'm like, yeah, that sounds like a really awesome time. I'm not getting on a plane, I'm not getting on a boat, so the chances of that happening, I can think of no more great awesome time than kayaking with Shannon and Sam, with the wife and I out there. That is definitely on the bucket list.
Yeah,
I'm lucky because I'm nearby. So
yeah, Bill, you should come down.
I should. I plan it. I've been wanting to meet Sam and everything. So
JSD, were you able to filter through? And by the way, I've saved you. So you made me create a separate folder of show topics just that have come in from Jesus Save Darnell, because you have just been doing a phenomenal job of feeding me too much bloody information, and I can't throw away anything. I don't delete anything, so now I have to have a special folder for JSD. Have you filtered through and found things that you want to talk about? Then also can set up Shannon as a source of expertise. Go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to start with Vernon Coleman and his ties to Mark Elsis, the Earth newspaper guy, because I think we were talking about Vernon Coleman in an earlier show, but I didn't get to detail why I have reservations about Vernon Coleman. On top of him being a germ theorist who hates anyone who brings up terrain, he has pretty tight ties with Earth newspaper, where he is allowed to put out his own, well, they put out his columns, and I'll just put a link to Earth newspaper's Dr. Vernon Coleman page as evidence. I'll put that in the chat. But Mark Elsis, the guy who runs Earth newspaper, he's very much a it's the Jews guy. And the reason why he's an it's the Jews guy is because he was confirmed, raised, educated Roman Catholic. So he's a very much Roman Catholic tied guy.
And what's going on there is that if you can't see the Catholic Church as the ultimate man behind the curtain, harlot behind the curtain, you've got to see something else. You've got to see Freemasons, Illuminati, Jews, anything but your church. And guess what? That doesn't pan out. No one has the power of the Catholic Church, the confessional, the hospitals, the school, infrastructure, and so-called secular states. So I actually had this in my to talk about folder, because my friends Tom Cowan, and that is definitely tongue-in-cheek. Tom Cowan has repeatedly ducked me for whatever his reason is to not be interviewed. So fuck him, but I still am happy to recommend most of his work.
Thanks.
Even though
I didn't know about that Vernon Coleman article. That looks crazy. I was just reading that.
Yes, I will. Wow. I will send this to you specifically. I'll put this in the chat as well.
That's disappointing. I mean, I was just like Darnell there, where I'm like was on the fence. I was kind of like suspicious of him at first because of the germ theory thing and some of his background, but then at the same time, I'm like, well, it's great he's speaking out and there's some good research he's bringing up. But then but he doesn't ever cite his research. Like, there's never any references. And like that article was just pointing out, he's like, well, I'm a doctor and I worked at the hospital. I'm an expert. So like, and all these other people are stupid.
That's a debate. That's a debate fallacy called appeal to authority. And as soon as you appeal to authority, you're encouraged to turn your brain off.
Exactly.
Right. So he says things that, people want to hear, people agree with. I mean, it's like Trump sort of, kind of says things you want to hear, but there's a lot he's leaving out. There's a lot he's holding back. He's never going to call out Rome. He's never going to call, BS on the germ theory psyop.
Right.
He's just kind of a high level controlled
Darnell,
opposition figure.
Not to step on you, pal. He put himself on the scene with what is easy. It was easy to hammer scamdemic tyranny. He put himself on the scene hammering scamdemic tyranny, which is easy. That's an easy win. That's like 40, 50 years ago talking down communism. Some people still do it. Communism. Oh, there you go. That's easy. Today, another one is transgenders. It's easy. We can just come together with how outrageous the transgenders are, how evil it is to encourage kids to become a transgender. Yeah, no brainer. That's cheap. It's cheap. Stick your neck out for something that takes actual courage to stand up against the machine. So same thing reminds me of Reiner Fulmick, another individual, an ambulance chaser who should be running for his life, who stole donations to pay off his mortgage. Yes. Are you effing kidding me? Paying for your house to the banksters 4, 5, 6 times over your lifetime, that's for the little people. We'll have this fraud. How many lawsuits did Reiner Fulmick or Dave, what's his name, Martin? How many lawsuits have they initiated and won? Oh, wait, hang on. I've got sound effects. How many? Here it is. Bear with me. Hang on. I'll play this. I'll actually share it with you. Hold on. Here we go. Zero. Zero. Oh, you know what? Reiner Fulmick, he did a roundtable discussion. Just like he's running for Congress, just like the legislators. It's like the legislative frauds. They'll do a congressional inquiry when they want to blow a lot of smoke and get nothing accomplished. He did a roundtable discussion. And right around number 99 is when they finally brought Andy Kaufman and I think Stefan Lanka in to discuss whether or not viruses exist. What? You wait for guest number 99 to discuss whether or not you should even be there in the first place. Are you kidding me? This, like I said, this guy should be, and the only way he can commit a crime like that and get away with it is if the machine, the government, pharma, Rockefeller death cult complex is behind him. Okay? Yeah. Proof. That, whether it's him or Mercola and his partner. And by the way, Bladion, when I did my review of my article, Bladion, which I'm lucky to break 2 digits on, here, I'll show it to you. When I did videos walking through my article on how, okay, so here's the premise of the article. Joseph Mercola's partner, Aaron Elizabeth, air quotes, Aaron Elizabeth, is an FBI snitch, a whore, and a madam who has been completely rebranded as the voice of holistic anti-vax health. Are you kidding me? No, I'm not. Here is me talking through my article. Part 1 gets 9 views, part 2 gets 2 views, and part 3 gets a single fucking view. Are you kidding me, Bladion? Mike Adams, you Austin CIA piece of shit. Are you kidding me? All right, Shannon, I am so sorry for being raw today. I'm just full Johnny today. I apologize for that. Apologize for being full Johnny. All right, but I don't want to leave this Coleman clown. So, in fact, I don't know if you guys want to keep talking about it or me play a little bit of Tom Cowan.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Yeah, I've got a little more on that because Mark Elsis, one of the schools that he went to, of the Roman Catholic schools he went to, was Ascension Catholic High School, also attended by James Carville.
And where is that? Is that New
That's in New York, I believe. I'm going to put, it's in New York.
Oh, Carville. Carville's not a native Louisianan. Of course not. Yeah. All right. Let's see where else. I was going to see. Shannon, do you have more?
Oh, no, that's his in Baton Rouge. Sorry. Yeah, Ascension High School's in Baton Rouge.
Okay.
Just look that.
Yeah, I know he was a redneck Catholic. That fraud. Yeah. This is solid. So this is fantastic. I have painstakingly photocopied every page of Dewey Larson's book, The Case Against the Nuclear Atom. So, do I have this? Hang on a second. I know I've got the GIF. Do I have the clip? Hold on.
Yeah, I was confusing Ascension School with Ascension Church in New York, where Mark Elsis was baptized. I got my Ascensions mixed up.
All right, no, it's actually, you got it mixed up. What is really the name of the school is Our Lady of the Worthless Miracle. I don't have the clip, William. I need this clip, the audio, the video, instead I'm gonna have to play the GIF. So,
which video is that?
I'm going to show you the GIF, and you're going to have to get it to me.
Gotcha.
So here, my beloved friend Tom Cowan, who anytime he does a Homer Simpson, I don't have time to pull it up. Johnny who? Okay, I'm busy. Got into, there was a 1953, decades old book by Dewey Larson questioning the nuclear atom, questioning the science behind the proton, the neutron, and the electron spinning. And what they tell you is that's the nucleus. And if you could see the nucleus in real life, that the protons and the neutrons would be the ball, and the electron would be somewhere in San Francisco. Coming around. So what do we have here, Tom? What do we have here, Tom? Exactly what I have been saying for years now. The micro or the macro. Whenever you have to rely on an expert to tell you what your reality is, they are lying to you, Tom. And Tom is just now coming to that, and with a great source that I appreciate you for that. But here's what Johnny says. Welcome to the party, pal. Okay? We've been on this. I've been on this for years. Whenever you have to trust the expert to tell you the reality of things you can't see, they're lying to you. What a surprise. Now, the one copy I have, oh, by the way, it's like 19. Here, let me pull it up for you. Dude, nuclear atom, Dewey Larson. I got one copy that I had to painstakingly photocopy, page by page by page. And even then, the copy that I found, some retard wrote in everywhere. And I made it through 3 pages of erasing what of his writing I could find, and had to give up. So like, okay, it's only how many pages? It's only 154 pages, and I made it through like 4 pages of erasing what this idiot wrote. But this is a must keeper, and you can't find this. Archive.org will allow you to rent it for an hour. Oh, hey, Archive go fuck themselves.
So there's no copies out there, huh?
No copies. I had to painstakingly screenshot page after page after page after page, put it together, put it in a PDF, and do my best to clean it up. And it's barely, 15% cleaned. This page, actually, I got to like 20. I got 20 pages worth, and you'll see as it starts to get where
you wouldn't want to get any of my books that I use for research secondhand, because I'd mark all.
No, that's what you needed. Here we are. That's what you need.
I write all over the place.
when you're talking about digital copies that you're sharing with other people, no. If you're talking, that's absolutely. If you're talking about a hard copy that you're using for your own, absolutely. Mark it up, write it up, whatever you need to do. My Bible, my first Bible. You're not supposed to do that. You wrote in your Bible. My first Bible. It's everywhere. It's scribbling and notes and tags and everything.
That's why I would never want to share my books with people, because it'd be annoying. I wouldn't want to get a book that's marked up.
Sure. And that's the downside, is I look at things I wrote in my Bible 15, 20, 25 years ago, like, dude, you are a fucktard. What the hell? Are you kidding me? But look, that's the nature.
And Jane reference.
Unfortunately, that's the nature of actually growing and learning. That's what you do. You grow and you learn.
Since we're now all so we've questioned the virus, germ theory, and all these things because we realize we're being lied to, especially by these systems and control systems about our health. And it got me thinking recently about cancer and this idea of like, what is cancer, right? Because they seem to change the definition and parameters around that. And it's like, okay, so I used to understand it seemed like we understood it as something out of control growth in your body. But then you can have you can have a tumor and they'll say, well, it's not cancerous, even though it seems to be an out of control growth. And then there's like, well, how do they determine which one is cancerous or benign? And then it's like, oh, there's a cancer cell. Is the cancer cell real? I think there's a question about what a cancer cell is and how that's determined. Even cells, like how, because all these things, again, under a microscope, using staining materials, this is how we're like presented with this micro world inside of us, right? So then they're saying, now there's like different screening. Oh, get early cancer screening. You might not feel sick at all, but you could still have cancer. And then we're told like you could have had cancer and gotten rid of it. And you could, cancer comes and goes. So there's all these weird stories around cancer that's so similar to sort of HIV and AIDS. Like, so if you get screened early for cancer and they say, oh, there's cancer, then you take the drugs early, do all these things, get on top of it. And then when you die from all the drugs and poisoning and radiation and surgeries, it's because you died of cancer.
Shannon, you have a genetic tendency to get breast cancer. You need to chop your breasts off right here and right now, because 10 years down the road, you're going to get it. Look, Angelina Jolie, Roman Catholic Angelina Jolie, who hates her conservative Catholic father, John Voight, she had it done. Really, trust me. I'm not lying to you.
Yeah. And so this is where, I just start to kind of stop. In my mind, I don't really care. I don't worry about cancer because I don't even know if it's real. I may probably don't, if I don't like worry, if I never go to a doctor and he never tells me I have cancer, I'm never going to have cancer. That's how I see it. Like, you can't have it without the doctor telling you. And so I'm like,
look,
I'm not going to
it's just about healthy living. It's honestly, it's just about healthy living.
I agree.
Different definitions of disease, right, and sickness, and so I don't need somebody to do that for me and like label it and then diagnose me and then treat me until I die. And I had a great grandmother. She apparently was diagnosed with cancer in her early 80s, and you know what she said? She said, "I refuse this cancer." She was everybody thought she was a little crazy, and she never did anything about it. She lived another at least 15 or so years, no health problems, died in her sleep.
It was slow acting cancer, okay? It was just slow acting.
Right.
Well, I like Johnny's definition of cancer. It's your body
reacting to you being poisoned. It's the final stage. You've ignored all the other signs of your. You've ignored all the other signs of your body screaming at you that you've been poisoned, and that your body's just finally collapsing because you've ignored all the other poison signs. Go ahead, Darnell.
Yeah, I wanted to mention, speaking of cancer, I was watching recently, and I'll put it in the Zoom chat. You can share it out if you like, Johnny. Dr. Nicholas Gonzalez, if nobody's aware of him, you definitely should research him. He was all about fixing cancer with diet. And with the right diet for the individual.
Revolutionary. You poison yourself with a bad diet. So I tell people this, I'm going to live this if I ever get diagnosed with cancer. And I don't know how I'm going to do that because I'm not going to a doctor unless my arm's falling off. A radical change of your lifestyle because your previous lifestyle poisoned you. So surprise, surprise, if you have a radical change to your lifestyle, there's an excellent chance you can help, not necessarily cure, but you can ameliorate what your body is going through because, like I said, your previous lifestyle was deadly to you. You refused to change. You refused to recognize the signs and symptoms. Now your body's saying, guess what? You're going to die unless you make radical changes. Therefore, radical changes starting with a fast of some kind is going to have an excellent chance, nothing is guaranteed, but have an excellent chance to help you. What a surprise.
Yeah. So basically he was doing that. He was writing books. He was documenting protocols of how to do it. And he mysteriously died.
Well, let me tell you something. To me, anytime, and I see these stories, all the time, as Mandelbaum would say, see these stories all the time of miracle doctor with a miracle. I'm not saying this guy is example, but I've seen this all the time. Listen, could take that back out and put it on your water line that you stole it off of your lawn. That's messed up. So now your guy's going to come along and he's going to be cutting his ground and he's going to, because you stole the flag off of his water main. Just so you could wave it on the show. But anytime somebody says, this doctor had the miracle cure for all cancer and he suddenly was just abducted by aliens and disappeared and they found him in cement in his car swimming with the fishes. Okay. Let it hang there. Rojo Shoptao. Rojo Shoptao. Red flag.
Yeah,
very likely bullshit. Very likely bullshit. Okay. What does that do? What does that do? That encourages you that so what happened? You had a lifestyle that poisoned you. You don't have to address that. You don't have to look into and investigate the toxins that gave you the cancer. You just have to go after the miracle cure for cancer and go right back to your life that poisoned you in the first place. So that in and of itself, that very premise gets the patented Bill and Johnny bullshit flag. Okay? So whenever I see so-and-so had a miracle cure for cancer and then he disappeared, the CIA black bagged him and now he's curing cancer in Guantanamo Bay. Bullshit.
Okay, that reminds me of the word. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Darnell.
I was going to say, this guy's definitely not BS. He started a center to help people with cancer that still goes on now. In the video that I put in the Zoom chat is one of the doctors who is still working there talking about the documented. And they go through all the protocols for basically scientific fact to prove that they have and are healing people of cancer through these just more natural protocols than you get from the death cult. He used to be an oncologist. He used to be an oncologist, and he flipped and he started doing Gerson, and he was a Gerson doctor, and then he flipped from being a Gerson doctor to doing the Gonzalez protocol and working with the institute that Gonzalez set up now. And basically they go through all the details of how they do their protocol and how they basically do it through more natural diet and just getting your body in balance and curing cancers that are supposed to be fatal.
Without even knowing anything about this guy, just what little you've told me tells me that he's got something solid. Like I said, my only concern is to address how someone got cancer in the first place, which is you were poisoned. And that is something the Rockefeller death cult never gets into. Shannon, what were you going to say?
Now you mentioned Gerson too. That's another one of those stories like that Johnny pulls the flag on because he lost all his family in the Holocaust and then moved over here and then he was persecuted and I don't know, didn't he die or something? And like he couldn't, I don't know.
He went to Mexico. He started a hospital in Mexico.
And then I remember something about that. I think I saw where that was in Mexico and it's just surrounded by cell towers. I don't know. It's like, I think I heard of people trying to go there and getting sicker and I just saw where it was and I was like, there's cell towers everywhere. That's crazy. Why are they there right under all that radiation? But then there's, they reminded me of Royal Rife, right? The Rife machine. Okay, so he has an interesting story, persecution story, and yeah. And
all right, anybody with the name Royal Rife automatically gets the patented Bill and Johnny bullshit flag.
Because this keeps coming up lately where everybody's trying to, and I wanted to talk about this today, as trying to sell us on these like EMF machines to counter the effects of EMFs, right? And so that's one of them. So he apparently was using frequencies, man-made artificial frequencies to cure, and you could pinpoint it and you could cure whatever. And the machine was destroyed and people try to reverse engineer. There was one machine left or something. There's no more blueprints. They've been taken away. And
he had the mystery frequencies.
mystery frequencies. And so but there've been all these Rife machines since then supposedly are similar, but then people, when they don't work, people say, well, it's because it's not the real one, and they try to reverse engineer and they don't know. It was taken away from us, this technology. But lately I've been seeing more accounts of or claims that new machines are they're like the Rife machine, they figured it out and very expensive. Either the machine, well, you can't even buy the machine. I think we have to go for sessions and get, the radiation from these machines supposed to help you. And there's a lot of new age kind of brochures. Somebody just gave us one, a friend, it was like a new agey brochure somewhere. Oh, they went, it's great. There's all these beautiful healing frequencies and they've got all the pictures of people in yoga poses and sacred geometry. And it's like, yay, come here and with the healing energies. And you can just get zapped. All you have to do is sit there and get zapped with healing energies and you'll be healed.
Cure your cancer. You go right back to living your life filled with poisons and toxins. Look, I actually have a link right now on my browser. You can get the blueprints for Royal Rife machine and build it yourself for only $1 million.
Yeah.
Okay? That's how much a Royal Rife cancer curing machine will cost you today.
Yeah. So my point is, I don't trust any of those things because I have been damaged, harmed by electromagnetic fields, and I've tried. And initially, I bought the Schumann resonate. I called it the resonator. Like I was calling it the Schumanator. That's what we were joking. The Schumann resonator, but it was like. That just kind of gave me headaches. I didn't feel any change except getting headaches. And I'm like, well, why is it bothering me? It's giving me headaches. And because it's still an artificial man-made electromagnetic frequency, and I don't know that, I've looked in, there's been some recently, and I was telling you, Dawn Lester, and I was surprised on her Substack that she was promoting one of these things, saying it helped her with some blindness or something, curing some of her visual problems. And I linked, so I checked the link out, and I went to this company, and I'm like, I cannot find any real information about what it is, what frequencies. They won't disclose what it is happening. And if you can't tell me, what this machine is doing, even what frequencies it's supposed to be, and how is it, and if they're saying it can scan your body and tell what frequencies you need and then give them to you. And so anyway, what I'm hearing from this is you're talking about some kind of sending out radiation. It's got to be using microwaves of some kind. You can't tell me that there's better microwaves than other microwaves. I just don't believe it. And so even if people, because like any kind of poisoning, if you're poisoning yourself with EMFs, just like if you use chemo or antibiotics, you might feel better first. You might even think it's helping you, but your body is reacting to, if your body goes into a healing crisis mode or reacts to being poisoned, you might feel like something changed for the good. But in terms of long-term effects, we have no idea what the long-term effects are. I read The Body Electric by, Robert Becker, who really studied this in depth, the effects of electromagnetic fields on healing. It seemed to promote bone growth, for example, right? You could heal broken bones more quickly with very small amounts of electricity, but he still didn't promote it. He said, we don't know the long-term effects. This is and when they start coming out with these TINS machines to help athletes recover quickly from muscle pulls, and it seems to help, they started getting Lou Gehrig's disease after. So he, Robert Becker was like, this is linked to Lou Gehrig's disease. This is it may help speed up a process, but you're talking about long-term effects. We don't understand this. He thinks it's dangerous, and so I just still feel that way. I think that we're playing with fire. We don't understand what we're doing, and it's not going to help to fight fire with fire. In this case, that's what we're doing. We're saying we need more electromagnetic fields to combat electromagnetic fields. We need more natural fields. We need to be connected to our natural environment. And whatever you do when you introduce another man-made frequency you can't say that's the same as the natural one. It's like anything that we try to create artificially that's in nature is not going to be the same. Just almost like the idea of vitamins. There's something natural in food that's that helps us, that's helping us heal or grow or whatever, and we're going to try to create that in a lab, and here's the chemical version. So to me, it's we got to stop trying to make a machine version of the natural frequencies and stop blocking them and just allow them to be. This is our, healing natural environment. Just let it be, let it do its thing.
Shannon, it's the same psyop. I know Bill's trying to jump in. It's the same psyop over and over and over again. There are no shortcuts. There are no shortcuts. Supplements, you want to supplement, you need to supplement for fish oil. Eat a fish. Eat a fish if you want supplement for fish oil.
Right.
It's the same sign.
Don't get a UV machine, a UV sun lamp. Go out in the sun if they let us have exposure to it.
Well, that's what worries me about all these. Now the malls have them, business has them. It's those defibrillators, and using electroshock to
Frankenstein you back to life.
Yeah, I don't get that. I grew up on one of my favorite shows that I grew up on. I have all their episodes. Is called Emergency, where they use those paddles, what they call paddles, and they clear, and the guys do it. I'm going, what kind of damage? Even though you're trying to, you're trying to revive the guy, wake up his heart.
Listen, I live by those things. I live by those things. As a matter of fact, I think they should be in every gym from now on. And, oh wait, they actually are. That's crazy. That's crazy. Now why would they have the defibrillators, the shocky things in every gym? Why are people collapsing for some reason? Having heart trouble?
I had to take first aid last year in CPR to do my kayak guiding, and they were telling us all about that, and I was like, that's insane. I actually started really thinking about it, and I asked, and she admitted that CPR it is only like 5% effective at saving people or something, and it's actually can damage. And I asked about long-term effects. Like I was like, what about? And she really didn't know about studies about like the prognosis for long-term after you actually. If it actually works, so when you're pumping on somebody and breaking their ribs, you are
yes, absolutely,
and that's not safe. Apparently, that's just to keep them alive until they bring the defibrillators in and shock the heart and everything. And they actually have these terms like first death and second death. And I was saying, like, they're talking about all these crazy things you do to the person, the victim who's already has the first death or something, and ripping their chest hairs off if you don't have a razor. I was like, well, to put the paddles on. And they said, oh, it's okay because they're already dead.
Right.
It doesn't matter what you do to them, they're dead already. And so we're just trying to prevent the second death. So we could probably bring them back from that.
For the third death, you can pull their pants down and laugh at them. For the fourth death, you can lick your finger and stick it in their ear. Whatever, and all of that has proper. So if they're clinging to life, then you beat on their chest until you kill them. Is basically the what we do for that.
I mean, I just think like, why just let me die? I don't want anybody to ever do that to me.
Or blow into them and their lungs. That'll definitely save them. Good for you. Good for you. That's okay. That's your next book is. All of the life-saving techniques that are actually bullshit, to include CPR.
Now for children who are drowned, the only time it's effective at all is a drowning child, like who has water in their lungs and you can push it out and their chest is flexible.
An obstruction, actual obstruction.
Yeah, like a choking or drowning. But anything else, Heimlich, there's just no reason for it. Yeah.
But that's different.
I'm looking into that. The odds that you can, apart from the whole swimming accident type of scenario, the odds that you can bring somebody back are low. And if you bring them back, they're not going to be who they were when they died. And they could be, a pretty messed up case when they come back.
Yeah, it's like a zombie. I mean, it could be like a possessed, it is Frankenstein. It's animated, whatever. It's an animated dead body that has some other something living in it. I mean, who knows?
At the bare minimum, we have the degradation of neurological cells immediately, almost instantly, when you cut off the oxygen. When you cut off oxygen, it's immediate degradation and huge danger to the body system.
The reason I say clear is to get everybody out of the way, because that amount of electricity is going to hurt anybody who's touching the body at the time. And I've heard this, and the person who was teaching us this said that it happened in 3 incidences, the same EMT or whatever, with this person who was doing forgot to say clear, this guy, this firefighter or something, had peed his pants. It made him pee his pants. He was touching the body 3 times with the same person, like the same scenario happened. He was so angry, but it's like, it's okay. It makes him pee his pants because he's getting some of that electricity. I mean, I'm like thinking, what is happening here? Like,
what are the actual stories of someone that was actually physically harmed? Because of the conduction of massive amounts of electricity. That's those stories. We'll just tell you the funny story about how he peed his pants. Yeah.
Right, but I'm thinking that's only a symptom of like what happened, what damage he just sustained. I mean, that's not really funny.
Involuntary, yes. You lost motor control. Lost motor control, okay? That's part of their psyop. We'll make a lighthearted joke about the actual effects of saving someone's life.
Yeah, to remember why to get away from the body when they say clear. But it's like, obviously there's so much, that's a very powerful force that is like, untold amounts of damage long-term to everybody around it, everybody working with the equipment. but yet we put them everywhere. They're in schools. Yeah, that's because all the heart problems that are coming up. The kids having heart attacks at school. Kids are having heart attacks at school. Children, this is common now because there's vaccine, ties to that increases from that and the effects on the heart. There's the radiation they're exposed to, effects on the heart. There's the diet, the vitamins effects on their heart, the levels of inactivity and obesity effects on the heart. So it's just like, but here, what's the answer? Not changing any of those things that's causing the problems with the heart. We'll bring in our super Frankenstein machine, to revive. We'll save their lives when they're dying at the school.
Listen, we can also thank Hollywood for that. Whenever you want to reinforce bullshit, I was just thinking about this just now. Across the board, from the fun bar fist fight on to getting shot, how much that any one of those, any physical trauma has an immediate risk of permanent damage. Meanwhile, you've got endless stupid movies of people being in 10-minute long fist fights and they barely have anything, a little trickle of fake blood. Meanwhile, loss of vision, cracked skull, anything, brain damage, to especially getting shot, where the hero is barely even, and then 5 minutes later they're completely healed. Meanwhile, the reality is likely permanent damage, never recover. Listen, whenever you want to reinforce bullshit, there's Hollywood for you.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so we only got about like 15 minutes left, and we've already asked Shannon to expose herself to harmful Vertold rays for much too long. As I mimic old Star Trek there for you, Bill. Let's go around the horn with Annie. I know Danos has got me more. Bill's already ready. Bill's ready with his questions. Go ahead, William.
Well, it's not a question. You were telling me to find a video. What happened with that?
No, I just wanted a clip. So listen, you get shortcuts sometimes. So I ask you for a clip, and you'll go out and find, oh, here it is on YouTube, and pull it down and you can see, look, Johnny, here's my hard work. I just did this. No, I wanted to get the Die Hard Welcome to the Party, Pal, but I want it done right. If you don't have time, I want it with an awesome fade in and fade out.
I did find a really good movie, a really good video. If I can share it real quick. If you'll let me share
with great trepidation, do I give Bill permission to share it? Go ahead.
All right, let's see here.
We don't even know what it is about. Uh-oh.
I regret it already.
Could be anything.
Especially with Bill's internet speed. Sometimes it just won't come up, period.
There we go.
Oh. Hey, that's our cat. He found this on Sam's channel. This is our cat, Mina, covering cow poop. She cow patties. We were on a hike and she found all these. She was covering all the cow patties.
She is as bad as me. I will jog around the block and pick up other people's trash. She goes around and covers up other animals' duty.
Yeah, she's like, what
That's
is
adorable.
This? That was when she was a kitten.
Thought you would like that.
That's adorable. And you keep her on a.
Well, when we were camping and hiking, and when in places they're not familiar with, they go on the leash. But out here, they don't do the leash. So, but yeah, that was
that's solid. Me personally, especially when I'm not, any of my environment. Honestly, any environment. Period. I'm too paranoid to let them out at all. And they.
Oh, and the snake one. Oh, thanks. Yeah, I forgot about this. She's hissing at a rattlesnake on the other side of the window in Arizona. Look at that.
She's ready. Ricky Tikki Tavi.
Oh, and here comes Roz. We call them danger duo when they're together.
That would freak me out. It just slither up to you on your own porch.
Yep, right there. They were everywhere.
I would have to.
But see, we taught them we had to teach them that rattlesnakes were dangerous. And because they, at first, were just curious about them. And anytime we were out hiking and we counter one, we'd have to hiss at them to get away from them.
Yeah, good for her. Yeah, that's one of the many, many reasons why I don't let my babies outside. So,
but we don't have rattlesnakes here. We have bears, and they're very savvy now. They smell. I mean, we won't see anything and smell anything, but they will smell the air, and they will, like, we call it smell seeing. They smell see something, and they go right back inside, or they're like, we're not going on a walk. We take them on walks. They actually expect their evening. They have 2 evening walks right now, evening and nighttime walk that they get, and they expect the walks. And it doesn't matter how tired I am, because I'm like the main person who walks them, but we go out. They stay by the house. Otherwise, they won't go out into the woods by themselves. They know it's dangerous.
That's awesome. I was with the wife in the Poconos, and I don't go on vacation anywhere that I can't bring the dogs, and my wife is just phenomenal, and she always plans vacations where we're bringing the dogs. She just knows right out if I'm gonna only go, and so we're out there on the porch, and we lock the porch in with gates and everything, and this was a great setup. They had a hot tub out there, so we're in the hot tub, and we're out there, and I don't want to say his name. It was a little shit. Interestingly enough, his name is also Sam.
Really?
Yeah. And so we were out there, and an adolescent male black bear. He looked hungry. I felt bad for him after he went through. He was just kind of really fixated on trying to find something to eat, and he just walked right past within like 15, 20 feet of where we were at, and Sam he'd never seen one before, and he just did a double, triple take. It was like, what the? And then it took him about 20 seconds, and after the bear was long gone, then he started going, did you see that? What was he doing here? Are you kidding me? Come back here. I'm going to take care of you. Yeah. It was cute. It was hilarious, because he's like, he's like a tenth of the size of this bear. So, all right, round the horn real quick. Darnell, JSD.
Yeah, real quick, someone was asking about the Berkey, and I've done a lot of work in water filtration, and I'll say, don't buy it. Get a distiller. Get a water distiller and distill your water. Get a TDS meter. TDS meter can measure the metals in your water. You get one of those, you'll find that the water that goes into your standing water filter, like an Alexapure or Berkey, is going to have about as many metals or very little less than when you put it in. They don't work well. Get a distiller and distill your water.
Well, I would have to disagree about distilling, because the only problem there is you create like a lifeless water. I mean, as far as I understand, no minerals in the water. That'll take out everything, and then you don't have minerals in
get
the
the
water.
minerals from your food. Get the minerals from your food.
Or
just
I don't
put
know.
some Himalayan salt.
The minerals are what the water ran over, the rocks and things that the water ran over. A lot of it will come out as fiber in your poop and whatnot anyway.
In this case, let's just say find your own way, but be wary. Yeah. Be wary of filtration not doing its job. Yeah. That's a solid concern.
You can go with reverse osmosis. That won't totally kill the water.
That's what we have. I mean, we have a five-stage reverse osmosis filter.
Yeah, reverse osmosis or distiller, research and make your choice.
Make your own choice, absolutely.
The standing filters, please don't.
Right. And this brings us back. We kind of ran over this kind of quick. I know Dawn Lester very well. I would say that if Dawn was promoting on her Substack a mechanism to ameliorate, that's my favorite word, by the way, ameliorate electromagnetic radiation, that actually turned out to not do what it was supposed to do, I would say, hands down, I'm not having met Dawn, but about to meet her in like 6 weeks, is that the chances are excellent that she just got pulled into something. Listen, she's got like, I don't know, 2 or 3 sponsors. I got 0. If I had someone pop up out of nowhere that wanted to sponsor me, I would feel a strong pull to go ahead and let them do that. But especially if, so it's bad enough to have no sponsors, and then someone pops up and it seems like something that your audience would like, it would be a very strong pull to partner with that. I mean, how hard is that? I guess I'm blessed to have no income from advertisers and sponsors in that sense, air quotes, because you're responsible. You are responsible for promoting anyone and anything that you partner with. And that's a heavy responsibility. How do you take time to test your own EMF protector? How do you know for sure? So look,
and I'm not saying, I doubt she's actively trying to do something that would harm anybody, and probably
she's not trying to pull a Mercola. There's no way she's trying to pull a Mercola.
No, and I think a lot of people just aren't aware of the EMF issue. They don't understand them very well, and that's like a topic, they haven't researched as much. But like you said, there is always this danger in like promoting product, right? As somebody trying to also speak truth, and then you start promoting products, then there can be a conflict of interest there, and you might not even be aware of it. And I have promoted a couple of summits. I wasn't even sure if I should be doing that. I didn't know all the speakers, what they'd be saying, if I agreed with all of them, or and things like
that's a different issue, young lady.
Yeah.
It's a radically different issue. You absolutely should go anywhere it is convenient for you to go. So that this is a very similar thing to, okay, who do you partner with? Who do you interview, and who do you allow to interview you? Anyone with just a tiny few exceptions. For instance, I've got a guy who is the expert in the Jesuits under me, of course, Eric John Phelps, the guy that actually gave me my Jesuit red pill. He promotes a racial separatism that to me is just too toxic, too radioactive, to use a term, for me to have anything to do with that guy. Whereas me partnering with him, or me interviewing him, or him interviewing me, associates me with something that is just too damaging. Anything outside of that, go for it. If Bill Hicks, aka Alex Jones, calls you up and says, "Hey, come on and talk about vaccines. Come on and talk about vitamins. Come on and absolutely go do it." That's different from, doing your own research and like what we were talking about earlier. But as association, you just be you. And you don't compromise your message. And that doesn't matter who you're standing next to on the DS, on the stage. You are good to go. Don't worry about that.
I'm sorry. I want to clarify. I meant just being an affiliate, having an affiliate link to a summit where I get paid if somebody goes there.
I understand.
That's what I already felt like. I'm like, I don't even know if I should be. I'm not in the summit.
That's fair. That's fair.
Like,
we've got like a germ theory safe vax summit, and your face is on the postcard with 25 other people, and all the 24 other people are frauds, and your face is up there. Sure, that I agree. You should be careful with that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not even been invited on the summits. I mean, I'm like linking to it. And then if you go with my link, and then I might if you pay for it, then I would get a cut. That's my point. So it's like promoting, when you start promoting and you get paid for it. And then you're like, well, maybe should I promote that? I don't even really know who's talking or that much about it. So I'm already like shying away from that. And I just don't like to be making money off of being linked to something where I'm making money off of something where I'm promoting somebody else's thing, and maybe I don't know that much about it, or this is where we get into trouble. And even just we write what we believe to be truth at the time, what we've learned, or just presenting what we learn. And then sometimes I'm like, oh, that wasn't right, and that wasn't truth, But this is just, and so that's all I'm really selling is my books and my research, and I don't really want to get into like selling products. I don't sell products.
You're absolutely right.
Talk about products.
It's unfortunate. There's no money in truth. There's no money in truth. And to get money, you have to compromise. It's just that simple. That's why I can't pay my bills. I don't pay my bills. I have to clean the cat poop and wash the dishes for my wife so she can pay the bills. It's just a fact. And this is part of why I have such a massive chip on my shoulder, because the more you compromise, the richer you get. And it's very, very angering to me. Totally understand. God darn it.
That whole thing, I've been pondering that a lot, because like the Apostle Paul, we know that he took donations, but he also made tents, but he wasn't selling bumper stickers and books.
How do you know? Maybe Paul did bumper stickers. How do you know?
Yeah. I mean, he wasn't doing all this Christian marketing that we see going on today to make a living. If it wasn't from the donations, he was making tents or doing something more general job.
Pal, not to step on you, but from a spiritual perspective, I think you got to find your own way, and there is a balance. And again, from the Christian perspective, not everybody's Christian, but from the Christian perspective, you just have to be true to your calling. True to Jesus Christ, true to your calling, and he will fill in the. Honestly, I complain all the time, and it's all warranted, but still I shouldn't, because I'm taken care of. Okay. And At one time in my entire life, really at one time was I worried about putting a roof over my head, and he delivered. Not only did he delivered me and a house full of fur babies, which is insane. I had an officer. I don't even think I was captain at the time. I may have been captain at the time. I had a major who put me up in his, he had a spare apartment. He took the cut. And not having money come in from that apartment, he put me in an apartment with my animals. And I mean a number of animals, like Noah's Ark full of freaking animals, and didn't even bat an eye. It's absolutely insane. And by the way, I had family members that I asked. I said, oh yeah, my own mother. Yeah, I'll put you up in my house, but you got to cut sling all those animals. I'm not taking all those animals. I'm like, have you met me? Do you know who, really? Okay. So I have to be careful. She doesn't watch the show. So, but to this very day, there's chip on my shoulder, massive chip on my shoulder over that. I've been taken care of. Find your way. Stay true to the truth, and you will find your way. But still, it all needs to burn. It all needs to burn, because all of those, the money and the power, is where the malignancy and the deception and the prison and the tyranny and the sickening and the death. That's where it is. That's the system, and it's time for the system to burn. JSD, anything else, and then William, for
I'll stop there for the day. But yeah, I think I'm not saying that you can't market anything, but it just seems like there's a lot of Christian Incorporated going on, and just marketing of truth that is going over the top.
Danger zone for sure. Yeah,
because I was gonna say, I see people, they're doing their Patreon, they're doing their other paywall stuff, and you got guys like Johnny here. He's giving it away free on Odyssey. It's like these other guys could, if they wanted to, really give it away free. They could find a venue to do it if they really wanted to. They don't have to complain about YouTube.
I'm suspicious of guys like Brendan O'Connell that everything is locked down and paywalled behind their Patreon. I'm suspicious of it. And I absolutely agree. And ultimately, I had something else I was going to mention. It basically, you just got to find your own way. All right, I'll shut up and let Bill finish up. Go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, I agree. See, the thing of it is that when Paul was a tent maker, he didn't want to burden people, and I think that's a great example to, most so-called pastors, if there was a true church, pastors should have a job. I mean, they should not have to depend upon his congregation to pay his bills, to all that kind of stuff.
Listen, and anyone that has been to seminary and is part of an organized religion and gets paid by the organized religion to preach what the organized religion tells you, that's a rojo shaptal. That's a rojo shaptal. Okay?
Absolutely. Because, all of them, I think even Peter went back to fishing, these people need to make a living. They don't need to fleece the flock, so to say.
Bill, guys, what we've been saying, and not to step on you, pal, but what we've been saying about everything is for health. Guides, not gods. You need someone to guide you in health.
Absolutely.
You need someone to guide you in your spiritual development. You need someone to guide you in whatever it is that you don't have the knowledge yourself. You yourself need to make the ultimate decision, and the school system will not raise you up to be independent and critical thinking. It raises you up to be dependent, a slave, to shut off your brain around the expert, and that's
absolutely correct.
All right, Shannon, go ahead and close us out. You're still at WiFi Refugee, yes?
Yep, WiFi-refugee.com.
Outstanding.
And
is that your number one link?
That's the number one link. There's the blog, there's the podcasts and on there, and the book links to books. I've been being encouraged to go on Substack because you can get people to subscribe and pay, but then I'm like, I honestly don't have time right now, but I'm gonna have a busy summer with my other job, but I do maybe, but it's like I looked at the terms and conditions. They own your work basically.
Very suspicious, Shannon. It's very suspicious. It is the new Reddit. They had Reddit, and Reddit was the way to corral people who were putting out news, and now Reddit is so thoroughly throttled and controlled. Now Substack is the new Reddit, and that's where they're being corralled and paywalled, etc. Paywall is out of control.
I had to get rid of Reddit, and I had to cut back on Substack. Substack, when I signed up with them, I mean, I kept every day. I was constantly being barraged by stuff, and I'm looking at some of these articles, and I'm going, I don't need this.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got my own blog. I don't need. Go ahead.
Yeah, I've got the blog. I got my blog if I want to write something.
Yeah. I don't need to go to Substack.
People can buy my books. I mean, if they want to support me, buy my books, and we'll have more books. And I need the time. And honestly, trying to write books and blogs, as you know, Johnny, is very hard. And like, I just can't do both. And if I start writing blogs a lot, then I'm not writing the books. And so, although some of the blogs, I guess, could turn into the book, but I really liked your the one you sent around, Johnny. That last one is wow. That was amazing story.
Trying to write a blog that doesn't turn into a book is obviously a challenge for some of us.
Say that looks like it was turning into a book there.
It was. And my dear friend Greg Wyatt, who gave me the original information, is like, hey man, I'll pay you if you give me an actual summary, because my eyes were glazing over as it's scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, and I can't really follow it. Eventually I just started to wander.
I read it.
I had to watch.
It took me an hour, but I read it all, and I read it right before bed. And then I had all these weird CIA mafia dreams. Don't read it before bed.
Italian Catholic private investigators looking in through your window.
But that's how a lot of these books get made. Sometimes is their blog posts.
That Illuminati Mass. There's several of my original articles that went together into Illuminati Mass, my first book. Absolutely.
Yeah, and is Shots Fired, that is available?
Yeah.
Okay, because I still have the PDF version.
Oh yeah. No. There's print. It's on Amazon and Barnes and Noble. Cool. If you don't want to go on Amazon, all my books on Barnes and Noble also. And I am working on. I'm about a third of the way through something I'm calling the Red Shoes. Our Devil's Dance with Technology, which is about tech addiction, and started a vitamin-1. I think I'm calling it Fortified, or the Fortified Lie, or I haven't finished the title, but got that all kind of outlined and a lot of research. And but I think most of my writing is going to happen in fall and winter, because I'm going to be on the river this summer, in the garden, and outside. So
you're going to have to send me some information on your kayak.
Oh yeah.
Oh, she'll come back and talk each new book and article. Absolutely. So, first dibs. We get first dibs. So
okay.
All right, Shannon. It was absolutely wonderful to have you. It was a great catch up session. Thank you so much. Also to my beloved friends and co-hosts for being doing such a great job and helping Shannon to knock it out of the park, which he always does. So, love you. Stay in touch, and be strong and courageous. Resistance is rising. Love you guys.
Thank you all.
Thanks, Shannon. Have a blessed weekend.
Thanks.